Okay, guys, big welcome everyone who's here and those watching on YouTube and those watching later. So I hope everyone's doing fine with the current situation worldwide. I feel on the surface it does look like gloomy and a little doomy, but I personally feel that it's a time of change and transformation, and it's been a blessing in disguise personally that I got to spend time for some inner exploration to find deeper aspects of myself, and I hope it's the same for you. I think we will organize some inner flight session to talk this kind of stuff in the upcoming sessions. Today, this is the first episode of what we call the Epic XC series. And the idea was that, pilots share their epic flights and everybody present, everybody in the club can get insights from their experiences and learn and grow. And that will be, the basic idea is to have an environment in our club that is enriching for everyone's growth. And I think this series will go a long way, and we look forward to each one of you to come and talk about your flights. We also thought of epic flights. It doesn't necessarily have to be a number, a distance, or duration, but some short flights can be really transforming and amazing flights. So we'd like to have those kind of sessions going. All right. Today, the pilot in spotlight is Mr. Vistasp Kharas, known as Viz, call sign Vulture. So interestingly, we used to have these call signs about 10 years back. We started this, and I think we should restart, where in flying, you generally have a call sign which either you decide or your flying friends decide for you. I mean, they should agree. It's not like you say something cool and nobody agrees with it, kind of a thing. So it's a collective kind of a. So Viz is known as Vulture. He says because he used to be on top of the gaggles. I think it's more for his looks. And so it'd be interesting to have this call sign thing going. A little bit about Viz. I've seen him grow from a baby bird to a grand monster vulture today as an XC pilot. And I've seen his delightful journey. What I really kind of stands out for me in him is his hunger for flying and his earnestness for things flying. And he's pushing the envelope, all the time. And that's why, he's been able to achieve what he's been able to achieve. And he's ready to share with us today. Not many know that he's been a big contributor in the success of Temple pilots and also to promote paragliding in India. He used to assist me when I first started off, like the thermaling XC courses, in Bir. And he was right there to support that aspect of, flying. Then he's been a president of the Paragliding Association of India. He's tried, his efforts to get, people together and promote the sport, through that association. He's also instrumental in promoting the sport by organizing CAT2 international paragliding events. He's done a couple of them in Panchgani and also a couple of them in Bir. And he's also instrumental in, promoting APPI and clarifying, the idea about APPI with the Aero Club of India. And we have been successful in achieving that. So we have a good international system in our country today. So, and in terms of his cross-country flying career, he's achieved quite a bit. He has some, personal records to his name. The longest flight in Bir by an Indian pilot, I think 230 kilometers and first time on an ENB wing, which is really remarkable. And Sorry?
ENB was 200.
Okay, ENB was 200. Thank you for the correction. So yeah. And yeah, as a friend, he's a very dear friend, a little challenging, but in a fun and, a good way. He has actually a heart of gold. We really value him.
So let's talk about that.
that's a bit about him. I will now hand you over to Viz. He will talk a little bit about his flying experience, so everybody's in the know. And then he will take us, on this amazing flight that I'm really looking forward to listen to, from Panchgani to Paavna. And thereafter, you're all welcome to ask questions that you find that okay would help you understand something better. And let's enjoy this Sunday morning listening to Mr. Viz, the Vulture. All right, take over, please.
Hello, everyone. Hope you all can hear me. Everything okay? Okay. So yeah, it started. I started flying in 2010. I remember 1st of January. I was there. I wanted to start the year flying, and they say whatever you do on the first day of the year, you do all year round. So well, I've been just doing it ever since. So that was good. And I think after around 4-5 years of flying in and around Kamsher, Bir I discovered Panchgani, and that became another favorite playground. And when I started flying in Panchgani is very technical and a bit challenging for somebody new without any guidance. So I started looking at tracks, and I found a lot of tracks of somebody called Dilip Kotecha, senior pilot, com pilot, one of our best, who we lost a couple of years ago. And so I started looking at his tracks, and some of them were really, really inspiring. He's flown from Pawna to Panchgani. So which is, quite mind-boggling. It's, the other way around, Panchgani being higher terrain and Pawna being slightly lower down. And yeah, so starting from there, everything we do, I think, in life starts with an idea. There has to be a thought, some kind of a germ of an idea. And so this is when that idea was born, to try and connect these two places that are very dear to me, Panchgani and Kamsher. And so we kept, thinking of routes. Alok and me used to fly a lot in Panchgani at the time. And so both of us were constantly, trying to do this. Alok did a few attempts where he landed up near Khadakwasla, and we figured out that route doesn't work. You need to generally fly a little further west if we wanted to make it, past that Khadakwasla ridge. So anyway, so kept trying until one fine day. This wasn't planned. I remember that day Badri and me were flying apart from some others, and we took off from Kingar and were generally floating around, and I was trying to explore towards Mahabaleshwar. When I got this thermal and looked around, and the day seemed to be coming on really nicely. I could see nice cumulus spread all over the place, and yeah, I just decided to do it. So in fact, Badri, he was flying around and didn't realize that I had gone off. And although I did radio him, maybe he couldn't he couldn't connect. He couldn't believe his ears that I said I'm going to Kamshet. So I don't think he kind of registered. So later he landed. When I landed in Pawna, I called him, and so he was the one who drove my car back and packed all my stuff and everything. So it wasn't really prepared. But that was in 2017, I think. So anyway,
did you mention what month was it?
This was in, I think, early March. Yes. So which is a great time for cross country, Panchgani, even Kamshet. It's a very good time. So I think enough about me. We can see the actual track. We put it on Avery, and Santosh is going to play it for us. Either we can just play it through and I talk about it. I think that should work, or we can stop in between and I can explain things. What do you suggest?
Let it play, and if you feel that okay, like this is something interesting, I can share here.
Okay.
We can pause it.
Yeah. So I've christened it the 7 Lake Tour. So I'm going to try and point out the 7 lakes to you as we go along. So this is Kingar takeoff, which is sort of southeast facing in Panchgani. Is this?
Please let me know when I start playing. Yeah, or else pause.
Yeah, you can play. You can play. You could probably just pull the statistics down so people can look at the stats also. Top right corner. The arrow on the top, yeah. Yeah, that was the one. So this was the beginning. I spent a lot of time because the day hadn't developed yet. So, lots of scratching around, looking for thermals. Do you want to let it buffer a bit, Santosh? Because it's very jerky.
Yeah, it's already buffered. Maybe the transmission, because depends on your internet also, it be showing. It's already buffered.
Anyway, you can just pause here.
Being smooth. Yeah, I'll just slow down.
This is the first of the lakes. This is Dome Lake, which is, which Panchgani kind of overlooks. It's a V-shaped lake. And in the center of that lake, on this ridge here, you can see Kamalgarh on the left side. Yeah.
With something with the local time, what is your takeoff time?
Local time was, no, this is wrong, but it was approximately around 11 o'clock.
Okay.
11:30. So as you can see from all the jalebis I'm making, that thermal's not formed yet. So, still hunting. You can play now, Santosh. So Badri was with me at some points. He was higher. Okay, the speed has dropped to 8x now, Santosh.
Yep. Knowingly I did it so that people can see it, or I can.
Okay, but everybody go to sleep.
Is it fine? 16x or 32x?
32 is best.
Yeah.
So still hunting. At this point, I go towards Mahabaleshwar. So if you can see now in the distance, that's Mahabaleshwar. What I can do is I can share the link for this. Santosh maybe or Ninad can share it on the group. And you all can see it on your own because this is very fractured. So yeah, at this point, I'm wandering off, towards Mahabaleshwar. You can see Mahabaleshwar Lake in the distance, Vena Lake, and still hunting for thermals. Is it paused?
Viz, if that's going to happen, it's going to be intermittent. All videos we play also become, they break depending on, because too many people and the internet is...
No, I'm saying it's on pause. Huh? Now it's playing.
Okay.
So yeah, heading towards Mahabaleshwar, lose a lot of height, and there's a lot of forest in front. So I come running back where there's a chance to land. And now I think I connect to the first, defined thermal of the day.
Vulture, okay?
And altitude now climbing to around 2,500. Still climbing 2,800, 2,900, 3,000, 3,100, and then I go off on the glide. So this was the point I decided that, okay, I've got 3,000. So let's do it. I mean, it's always a goal at the back of the mind. So now I've already crossed Panchgani and I'm approaching, this is Kinjalgarh and Raireshwar Dam, forts, which you can see on this ridge. This water body that you can see on the left of the screen, it'll come back in a bit. That is the Neera Devgarh Dam. So this is the second dam, second lake on the route. Now again on the side.
So you're heading north now, is it?
Sorry?
You're heading north basically.
I'm heading north. If you can see, there's Lonavala. If you can just pause here. If you can see on top, there's Panvel on the left, there's Lonavala.
Yeah.
Talegaon on the right, if you can see over here. So that's the general direction. So this lake, again, a very nice big lake, which you can see. This is Bhatgarh Dam and Bhatgarh Lake. This is in the Bhor district. So very interesting. So basically the idea is to glide across this valley and then connect to the next ridge. Okay, so you can play again, Santosh. So next ridge is, we are heading towards now Rajgarh and Torna Fort. I managed to find a thermal somewhere in the middle of the valley, which was nice. And I think this flight also was on my ENB wing, the IOTA. So I was topping up wherever possible. This is the Torna Fort, which you can see.
Sorry, do you also want to just, would you have any info on like the wind direction while all this was going on?
Okay, so yeah, you can pause here. So wind direction, when I took off, it was east. So east is basically from my right. So the direction that I'm going, I'm traveling roughly north. And as you can see it right now, the wind is from the right side. And of course, for any good XC day, it's very important that you have very minimum wind. So it was not a very strong kind of wind. So maybe around, 10 kilometers, max 15 kilometers an hour. And I think, it was also varying at different levels. So when you went higher up, I think there was a slight south aspect. I don't remember correctly, but when you went above the inversion, it was a little bit south. Anyway, we can play now. So so where was I? I think this ridge is the Torna Fort, and at this point, I kind of pulled out my phone and open the map, because I didn't have any equipment. I wasn't geared for the flight. And this is when I corrected my flight towards the west. So as you can see, I'm flying along this ridge. And I think this is the Torna or Rajgarh, one of the two. It's a very nice fort. You can also approach it. You can drive up to it. So at this point, and then I get a very nice thermal right over the fort. I'm quite sure Shivaji had figured out paragliding also. And then on my way again, and now you can see the twin lakes in front. The one closest to us is Panchet, and the other one is Varasgaon, where the Lavasa settlement is. So the line I was taking was along the dam, or slightly to the west of the dam, because I figured that if the wind is kind of blowing, hot air is blowing along the valleys, it would all release, at the dam when it hits the water. So that was the theory, at least. Seemed to work. So now we've crossed, I think at this point we've crossed both Panchet and Varasgaon. On the right here, we have Rajgarh Fort. And now on the left here, what you can see, this is the Mulchi Lake. So this big lake on the left. And again, trying to head towards that, line between the land and the lake, so that at the same time, trying not to be in the lee of these mountains. So yeah, you could pause here, Santosh. So at this point, now I've crossed the Mulchi Valley, which is on my left. And this is what you see here is the Paud Valley on the right side. On the left, can you pan this or not? So what you can see in the distance is Pawna, right in front. On the right side, that little peak sticking up is Tikona, which is right bang in the center of the screen. And on the left, can you pan left? Yeah, further. So on the left is Mulchi Lake. This is Mulchi. Really gorgeous lake. So this ridge which I am on right now literally divides Pawna and Mulchi valleys. There is a connecting road somewhere at Shilim, which you can see, just after this ridge drop off. There's a little connecting trail from there. Want to do it sometime soon. So yeah, so then this was the final valley to cross before reaching Tikona. You could play now again. So at this time I was really worried because it was close to around 4 o'clock and I was expecting the sea breeze to kick in any time. So as you can see, I took a very wide berth, from the mountains on the left. That's Tikona in front. On the left, if you can see that little peak, that is Tikona. And that is Paavna Lake. And the strangest thing happened as I reached the Paavna Valley. I actually started climbing. It was just a passive climb. And this is the point now. I'm somewhere over takeoff. That is Tung Fort in the distance. You can see Kamshet. And yeah, now I actually had to spiral down and lose height to land. The only regret was that I didn't keep flying, because I think it was the only time that I got these perfect conditions. Because surprisingly, when I landed, people at, I think Ankush was there on the landing on Paavna takeoff, and they were all paravaiting. So when I told them that I just came from Panchgani, they couldn't do it, you know. So yeah, so it was one of those rare days when the sea breeze hadn't kicked in, and I could have possibly kept flying towards Lonavala or even further, you know. So I think we had to paravait for at least another hour before I could take off again. So that hour could have been used, you know, for cross country. Anyway, so that's it. Santosh, maybe you could share the XC track, and then I could, you know, we can open up for questions. So that's those are the details. Yeah, if you could, sorry, just go back to that, please. Can you? Yeah, so date was 14/3, Avi, to answer your question. And 12:15 was the takeoff, not 11, but 12:15. 12:16, it says here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entire route was around 103 kilometers. And took me 4 hours and 20 minutes with an average time of about 25 kilometers. Yeah. So, Santosh, can you show the entire route? Can you zoom out on the map? Or probably make it full screen? The track is not there for some reason.
Now is it fine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the track. Takeoff at the bottom of the screen. So that's the takeoff here at Kingar. Can you zoom into this area? Right. So if you all can see, you know, lots of searching happening in this area. You know, hunting for thermals. You know, still hunting all this area. And then if you can zoom into this area here. Yeah, just zoom into this. Yeah. So if you can see, you know, much clearer thermals. So this was the actual thermal which I started with. and which kind of gave me confidence that yeah, the day was working. Yeah, you could zoom out now. So straight across from here, yeah, just hold it. So this no. Just keep it at that zoom level. No, yeah, it's a bit more visible. So if you can see, this is the first dam, first lake. That is Dome Lake. Santosh, can you zoom in a little more on this area? Zoom in here. No?
In this area only?
Yeah. Do you want me to try sharing?
If you want, yeah, I can.
Yeah, okay,
I can.
this is good. This much is good. Yeah. Keep it at this level of zoom.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is the first of the lakes. That's Dome Lake. In the center of Dome Lake here is Kamalgarh. So the first glide was literally across, and I think I topped up here a little bit and then took my main thermal here. There are two forts here. There is Kenjalgarh and Raireshwar. So on this ridge, there are two forts. And I think Raireshwar is where I took my first climb, and Kenjalgarh is somewhere here. Then from here, gliding north, as you can see, the wind at this point is kind of coming in this direction. Very slight tailwind aspect actually. So I would say somewhere in this direction. And yeah, so after this top up, then there is a straight glide across this valley to here. On the way, this is the Neera Devgarh Dam. So that's the second lake on the tour. Can you pan upwards? Right. So then again, a top up on this ridge after crossing the valley, and this is the Bhatgarh Dam in the Bhor district. And once again, we have a ridge here. So again, there's a top up here. This was the point, I think on this glide, I pulled out, my phone just to get my bearings because I was a little lost mentally on where I was. So, and then if you can see, if you can pan down a little more. Okay, we've zoomed out.
You fine now, base or still?
Yeah, you could zoom in slightly. Yeah, so this is that ridge, and that is the correction to the west. If you can see, very definite correction to the west direction. And somewhere here, this is I think Pawna Fort. Yeah, then if you can scroll up. And here are the two twin lakes, Panshet and Varasgaon. Lavasa is somewhere here. So we fly over that now. So this is the dam, and the wind is coming down, this valley, pushing all the hot air, and it kind of releases, at the dam. So I was flying a little west of this line, hoping that I would connect to this, water coming up. I mean, the warm air coming up from here. So again, after crossing both the dams, both the lakes, there's a ridge here where I caught my thermal. Good climb over here. Can you pan again? And again, there's quite a long glide now. In this case, again, further correcting to the west. And you can see over here, this is Mulshi. And I take my last, I think, thermal here and then cross into the Paud Valley. Can you pan down? So yeah, this entire thing is the Paud Valley. And then we have Pawna here. So last, I think thermal somewhere here, and then, a nice lifty line over the lake, surprisingly lifty, and then landing here at our normal takeoff. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'm open for any questions.
Okay, Santosh, you can get back to the normal screen. Cool. Thank you. That was fantastic. Flight that needs to be lauded and applauded in many ways.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're open for questions and see what interesting facet that you would like to inquire about, of what he shared. Please. Ninad, anyone? Or I have some questions.
No, as of now, you can start with your question. Yeah, we have one. Sorry, Avi. Saad, you can directly ask your question. Saad.
Okay. Yeah, hi, Viz. Saad here.
Yes,
Hi. So I was just asking like for me to even visualize, like you were planning ahead till Lonavala. If you can just give me a slight brief of what you were planning, if it was possible on the map or something.
To go
that
ahead.
would be
Yeah,
amazing.
sure. Okay, so can we? I need to show it on the map.
Yeah, Biz, yeah, you can share your screen.
You can share. Oh, you want me to share the screen?
Or else, yeah, just ask me what to share.
One
Share
second.
it.
Yeah, okay. I've got Google Earth. I'm just opening it. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
Search for. Okay, so I'm good to share. Can you all see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that's Pawna, and so yeah, going. So to answer the question, this line, if you can see here, one sec. Oh shit, I can't draw on this. Santosh, can you share, because I can't draw and share at the same time apparently.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll share the. You want it from the Google Earth or the maps?
Yeah, Google Earth
fine?
is good. Google Earth map, anything is fine.
Okay.
Contour map is also
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, let me share. Just let me know which
Yeah,
to
if you
navigate.
can just go full screen on this. Yeah.
नहीं मेरा दवाई कहाँ गया दवाई
Whose Dawai is the thing?
Saad needs medicine, I think.
No, that's not me.
Oh, okay.
That's Jewel.
Okay.
Do you have a full screen option or not?
Okay.
Okay. So you can just zoom out on this only. Yeah, that's good.
This is fine, right?
Yeah. You can just zoom out a little bit. Bye, Malar. He's going flying, I think.
Yeah, Viz.
Yeah.
So, this will be more than enough.
Yeah. So this line here is roughly the line of the ghats, right? So we have the whole, we have the valley, sort of the coast here, and then on this side we have the Deccan Plateau. All right. So this line is what one has to keep in mind, because when you have wind coming from this direction, you don't really want to go beyond this line, because you'll have a lot of wind kind of flowing over, right? So respecting that, now from Pawna, I would probably continue to connect. If you can see, again, there are more lakes. So there's this lake, there's this lake. So my line would probably be something like this. Can you zoom out further? Yeah, so this is Paavna Lake. That's it. So this is Paavna, and then somewhere over here, I think is somewhere here is Shelar. So the line would be somewhere around, somewhere like this. And somewhere here, I think, is Bhima Shankar. Can you just zoom into that top area? Yeah, just zoom. Yes, that much is good. So yeah, I'm not sure who asked that question, but this would be my kind of route, and land up somewhere here.
Okay, thanks.
Because,
That is
yeah,
epic.
I don't think the day would allow more than that.
Okay.
Yeah. So also idea now, if you can see, is we are flying a little bit east, because by then you would expect the sea breeze to start kicking in. So it's good to take this kind of aspect. Okay. Anyone else?
Ashish.
Yeah, hi, Viz.
Hi.
Thanks for sharing this. So one question is, I mean, you made it appear that, it was all random and, you thought of it and you went ahead. But obviously it wouldn't have been like that. You must have, researched this route a lot of time and planned the route, and you found the conditions to be right and you went ahead. So could you just, go a little back and maybe talk a bit about the kind of preparation that was done beforehand, out of before you took this epic journey?
So when you talk about preparation, there was a lot of daydreaming that had happened. So of course, I had visualized the route on Google Earth, studied the terrain, because I think back then we didn't even have, we weren't flying with any devices which had maps. So I had a simple Flymaster, and I hadn't yet started flying even with my phone or a tablet or anything for directions. So one important part of cross country is to try and memorize, at least the rough geography of what you want to do, because you may not always have access, you may not have connectivity. So you need to know roughly where you are. So a lot of that had happened. A lot of discussions had happened on the map. Like I said, Alok had, also attempted to fly this route. A lot of other pilots were trying to fly it also. I think the furthest we had reached was Khadakwasla, which is about halfway through the whole thing. So I knew what not to do, because if you fly straight north, you land up at Khadakwasla. And after that, there is the whole Pune limit. So you're very close to the town, Pune town. Once again, if Santosh can pull up the map, I can just show you briefly. So I knew in my head that was a dead end, because once you land up there, then you are really getting too close to Pune airspace and Pune airport. If you can just Google Khadakwasla, yeah. So that is something I knew that I did not want to do. Okay, I knew in my head that one had to push further west than was obvious, because sometimes in your head you think, oh, I just need to fly north, because north of here is Kamshet. But to achieve it, you actually have to correct and fly a little bit west as well. So yeah, this is Pune. If you can zoom in to Pune, yeah, just zoom in, keep zooming in. You can click the slider on the right to zoom in. Yeah, this bottom one, you could just zoom in. No, this slider on the right. Okay, so yeah, so if you see here, you can see Khadakwasla. One sec, where are we going? Can anybody see this?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah.
Khadakwasla and the Khadakwasla Lake.
You need to zoom out a little bit. Santosh, you need to zoom out slightly.
A little more? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
So
you
that we can see
Khadakwasla.
the lakes and everything also.
Okay.
Yeah, a little more, please. Little more. Little bit more, please.
Sure.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Just hold it here. So yeah, so here we have Khadakwasla. Panchgani is somewhere, directly below that. Can you pan down a little bit so we can see the bottom? Yeah, don't zoom out anymore. Just
Yeah.
pan.
This is fine.
Further up.
We just need to see Panchgani, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. A little bit more. Yeah, so anyway, so here, if you can see at the bottom of the screen, this is Panchgani. And if you go straight north, you end up at Khadakwasla, right? And then you have the Pune airspace. So this whole thing is Pune airspace. So, whoa, what happened?
I guess we lost Santosh. Viz, can you share it yours? It will be much smoother, I guess.
I can share
Sorry,
it, but
I
the
got
problem is that
disconnected.
I will not be able to point out anything. So I can share it.
Just verbally point out, I guess.
Okay, let me try. Share content screen, start broadcast.
I need to also mention that Khadakwasla is a defense establishment. It's another.
Right.
Yeah, I meant to ask that what happens if you find yourself in that kind of zone? I don't know if you'd be allowed to, like if NDA is in Khadakwasla and you happen to be.
Well, okay, so this entire flight is not exactly legal, right? Neither is it illegal because I mean there is no defined. You're not really going to any defined airspace as such. So yeah, so you, I mean, being India, what it is, you avoid, no? I mean, if you know that there's a city somewhere, I don't want to fly into that space. So anyway, here at the bottom of the screen, this, can you all see this? This is Panchgani and Dome Lake. All right. Can anyone see this or there's a big lag?
Yeah, it's visible.
We can see it. Yeah.
We can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm zooming out. And if you fly straight north, then you land up somewhere here. Okay. This ridge, which you can see right now in the center of my screen. So this is what fort is this? This is Sahyadri Fort.
Sahyadri, yeah.
Okay, you can see the fort quite clearly. So when Alok had come, he had landed up at Sahyadri and then landed somewhere close by here at Lavas, at
before the lake.
Before the lake at Khadakwasla, which according to me is a very dangerous thing to do because you've got this entire military establishment, what I'm showing you right now. And all this is Khadakwasla, these little houses and all this campus which you can see. This is all Khadakwasla. So he landed a little short somewhere here, I guess, on the banks.
Yeah.
Or maybe on this area, I'm not sure. And this, as you can see, is very close to city limits. Because right next to this here is this entire sprawl of Pune. And somewhere here is I think the airport, I'm not sure where.
Yes, to the west.
This map is not giving me
Sorry,
any
to the east.
map style.
Just uncheck the clean one. Yeah, great.
Yeah. So correct.
Yeah.
So you see like loads of stuff happening here. So yeah, so one clear thing was I did not want to land up here. So if you can see now, once again at the bottom of the screen, this is Panchgani, and we want to be here, which is Pawna. So it's a northwest direction. Okay. So this was the only thing that I had kind of decided and what I had in my head. Also, one other reason for connecting all the dams is that if you can see, each dam has a road, without fail. They need to service the dams. So every dam has a road leading up to it. So the idea was that if I were to bomb out anywhere, I would do it, slightly to the right of the dam, and thereby have a road back. See, there's a road here in the center of this valley. So leading back to Pune. This is Panchet and Varasgaon. And same thing with Mulshi. If you see, there's a road here going all the way back to Pune. And then Paavna. So yeah, so that was it. I mean, no other, I didn't have any waypoints marked out as such on my radio or anything like that. And yeah, that was about all the preparation.
Thank you for sharing.
But yeah, visualization helps. You need to kind of go over the route in your head. You don't know exactly. I mean, now I know after having flown this route almost 3 or 4 times. So I know which, what to look for, what to avoid. But the first time you're flying a route, it's very difficult to anticipate exactly what is going to happen. So yeah, idea is to be safe, and I was very conscious about making it before the west wind picked up, the sea breeze, which normally happens every day around, I think around 3:30, 4 o'clock. So depending on the season, 4:30. So that was my mental deadline for getting there, because I knew once the sea breeze comes in, then everything kind of deteriorates. You don't get good climbs and all of that. Yeah.
So next question is from Rajesh. He has asked on YouTube, what all instruments you were carrying with you during the flight?
So I had my Flymaster. I had a compass. I carry a small analog ball compass, and I had my phone, which was not on my flight deck. Unfortunately, it was inside my this thing deck. Thankfully, it was, I think, tied. I think there was a string attached, but that was it, pretty much.
Okay. So yeah,
Do we have more questions?
Yeah, there is a couple of them from Aslam. In fact, 4.
Aslam left actually.
Yeah, you can ask your question.
No, we can address those.
Okay, so first was, I understand that
just a second.
Sorry?
So first is about permissions. I think, and to answer, Vishal's question as well. What I can say is that till the time you get caught, it's okay, and if you're caught, then you've been doing something wrong. Logically, there is something called a G airspace, which is ground airspace, which is close to the terrain, and it is free airspace in all countries. But in India, there are different kind of rules. Like there's no concept of a GA space. So it comes to kind of argument there, you might lose. Specifically, we are not allowed to fly over crowded areas like cities or villages. So keep that in mind, number one. Number two, aerodrome zone about 50 kilometers around an airstrip. That's really out of bounds. Number three would be any military establishments. You don't want to be seen around there. So make sure you look at, airspace maps and, the map before you decide on a route, and probably mark them as no entry zones. So yeah, it's like that. And for cross country, like where we fly is actually in GA space, which is about, a few thousand feet above the terrain, which is actually clear. No aircrafts are supposed to go there. So it's actually safe, for us to fly. But it's not like legally accepted in India as a GA space. So that's that. Were you exhausted? Did you have enough to charge up?
Yeah, so every cross-country flight, I always have enough water. I carry about 2 to 3 liters. I think back then I had around 3 liters of water. And I always carry some, some nuts, some dry fruits, things like that. So no, not exhausted, because I had already done longer flights. So I've done my 230 kilometers took approximately 8 hours of flying. So this is 4 hours. So as far as endurance is concerned, no, I was not mentally tired or anything. And always, I always fly. I always fly for cloud base, so which involves a down jacket and warm gloves. That is important, because you can get very, very cold. Even on a hot day, in Kamshet, if you reach cloud base, you'll be freezing. So that's important.
Did you get scared at any point in time of getting lost? What would be your plan B to get out?
No, I wasn't scared.
What if you landed in some no man's land?
No, I wasn't scared. Like I said, if you study the map enough, you will see that every valley has a road in the center of the valley, and this area is quite well populated. So you've got villages, you've got buses running to every dam. So it's not like the Himalayas where you could get lost or something like that. Unfortunately, our population doesn't allow for that. So there are no virgin territories here. There are no forests. It's very, very safe from that angle. The only danger is a little bit close to Pawna Valley. There are some helicopter pilots who fly very low. And in the Panchgani Valley also, there are some helicopters who actually fly illegally low. They are actually the ones who are breaking the law. But I mean, it's part of the game. So no, I wasn't scared. There was a point when I was cutting west, somewhere near Torna Fort, where I could also see towards the west. I could see the smoke kind of blowing from the west, and I had no markers of whether it was still blowing east or not. And I was very low, so I would actually have approached in the lee of the fort. So that was one point where I was a little scared. I kind of went around the fort to take that thermal. So yes, that was one constant worry, that anytime the sea breeze would come and I would be in the lee of some of the mountains. So that was a worry all the time.
Okay, so Aslam, I hope you got the answers to your questions. And so yeah, just to make sense to everyone, I'll just like to summarize, some points which will, help you to, plan your XC flights whenever you decide to. So, first, I think, get your basics sorted. You want to be really good at thermaling skills, because there can be challenging moments where you have to really scratch and work on maybe very weak thermals. So you want to get that in your pocket. Number two is that you should be really good with your precision landings. There can be moments where you have to kind of land somewhere. It can be a very limited area, and you want to be good with your precision landings. And number three, like for basic preparation, like somebody asked a question, and we mentioned that practice flying long duration. Make from 1 hour you go to 2 hours to 3 hours to 4 hours, so that you have the stamina and don't get exhausted. So these are the basics that you need to sort out before you launch yourself on long XC flights. Then number two is you have a fair idea of how the day will evolve. Like you fly, you take off, and your first thermal will give you an idea like how the day is working and what kind of thermals are working today and how high you can go. So and what is forecasted, like what does the day look like. You need to have a fair idea of that. So that then number three is being totally aware, because you're traveling now, about the wind speed and direction, ground level and upper levels, and you want to plan your move like that. And for cross country, like we mentioned, that weaker winds are better, because that gives you freedom to travel in different directions. But if there is no reasonable amount, you can use it to your advantage by flying downwind. So if you notice these world records of 500 plus kilometers around like all straight lines, super strong downwind legs. So you want to have a fair idea, especially Panchgani, like we mentioned in the beginning of his talk, that it's a technical place, and we do have strong winds in our area. So when you're low, you should be seriously worried, by getting caught in the rotors. So Panchgani, how it works is like it's not like the general direction and what's going on, but at a lower level, the way the valleys are fashioned, as we saw in Google Earth, the wind is changing direction according to the valley. So it's a maze in Panchgani. So high up you can be relaxed, but lower down you should be worried about which way the wind is coming and which is the lee side. So having a fair idea of that. He also talked about orientation, point number 4, that you need to have your whereabouts where you are. Now we have GPSs, and you can actually put waypoints and clearly know where you are. It's a good idea to carry your GoPro. It's good to share like lovely footage with people, and they can see what you saw. Then last 2 points, very important, is like developing an understanding of the aerology as to what is happening to the air around the terrain. And it'll vary as you cross 20 kilometer marks, and it'll change. So as you're locally flying and going and flying at different places, to develop an idea of the aerology, like masses of air going up, getting drifted with the wind, and getting a fair idea where the source is, to actually catch it, like is mentioned in his talk about where he was using the water bodies. He would know there'd be triggers, and keeping the wind in mind to know exactly where to catch your thermal. And last one, what comes to my mind is understanding of getting the right lines, which he talked about with the map, as to choose the best lines. You'll get to used to these ideas of cross country flying, about lines to choose, and you get better in choosing your lines. So that's what comes to my mind to share, to summarize. And we're looking forward to taking pilots on these beautiful routes and tours, as this one looks really fascinating. So yeah, another question which maybe Viz will love to answer, that when you're had you sorted your peace story by this time, or you were not prepared for that, or 4 hours was okay to hold on? Because you need to be careful about how you consume water. You don't want to gulp a lot of water before the flight. You want to take it in short amounts as you progress, so that the bladder problems don't face. But he has an interesting take on this one. Go for it.
I think peeing is a very important part of cross country. And it's important that you learn to do that, in the beginning when you start your country flights, because what happens is that yes, you can hold it 4 hours, is doable, but what happens is that you're still aware that you want to pee, especially after 3 hours. It starts playing on your mind. So you're more inclined to make, it's just an added pressure which you don't want, because as it is, when you're doing cross-country flights, you're computing so many things in your head, safety, landings, cables, looking out for other things. So you don't want that added pressure of, oh, I have to pee also, So, I know good friends, good pilots, I won't take names here, but who've made some serious errors in judgment because they were just dying to pee, And it's not something you want to do when you have an emergency landing, or you're landing, in a new place. You don't want to have a bladder, that is just ready to burst. Also, if you do have a full bladder and you have a bad landing, it could complicate things. You could actually burst your bladder. Pilots have been known to do that. So it's not a joke. You need to learn how to pee in the air. It's completely legal. Part of the air laws is that you can, two things that you can shed in the air itself. One is liquids, and the other one is very fine particles like sand, for example. So this is actually legal, because it kind of disperses. You're not going to end up peeing on somebody. And yeah, you can either do it with a pipe, or you can, if you're in a chair harness, for men, you can actually lean out of the chair harness and do it. Or you can wear an adult diaper, which is again a very good solution. So yeah, I had sorted out my pee problem very early in my career.
Okay, so thank you very much on behalf of everyone present, and those who will watch this. Thank you very much for sharing, your experience and insights about this amazing flight. And
do we have a few minutes? Do we have a few minutes?
Yeah, we have, of course.
Because I have an airspace map here. I want to share it with everybody. So just sharing now. So yeah, can you all see this? Hello?
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. So if you can see, can you all see Pawna airspace here? Can you all spot Pawna? Can anyone see it? It's right in the center of the screen. Yeah. So now, if you see around Pawna, there's a kind of a blue line, which is the restricted airspace, and Kamshet also falls within this airspace, towards the left-hand corner, somewhere here. Okay, so this corner in the center of the screen is where Kamshet is, and so as you can see, anything west of that is not in a restricted airspace. All right. So connecting from here, Kolhapur Airport, which is here, and Panchgani is somewhere in the middle. I'm not sure where, but somewhere where this MAPTA is written is Panchgani. I think the blue line, the light blue line, which you can see here, this line is the coastline. That's the Indian coast. So there are basically two flight routes on this. There is this W17S, W15. That is one flight route that kind of is the only flight route within this path. Okay. This blue line, this dotted blue line is 100 nautical miles off Bombay Airport, which centers here. So we are also basically clear of that. So like I said, this particular flight is not in any restricted airspace, this route. You're not in Pawna airspace unless you deliberately go that side. So yeah, just wanted to share this. I will put a link of this group also on the group. You all can study this map. There's over here it tells you what is restricted airspace, controlled airspace, all of that. So just good to know. Yeah. Okay, Avi, back to you.
Yeah. So fine. So we'll put a link, and you can store that link with you. So thank you very much. I think it was an amazing session, and I hope everybody is inspired to go further and farther in their at sea flying.
Sorry, I also wanted to mention that Alok and Rohit Kawale, they also did the same route in 2018. I'm also going to share that on the club page. So have a look at that. I was hoping to show it here, but we didn't have time. So yeah, and they did it in a different, slightly different, almost I think a month apart in terms of the date. Okay, so that's it from my end.
So it'll be a good idea that you can post it on the club page, and if people have more questions or anything to clarify, they can and they can see both the routes. That'll give more clarity on how to plan in case they are.
Right.
So yeah, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. It's so beautiful to see everyone, and hope to catch you soon again, maybe Sunday or the Sunday after. And yeah, keep flying. My suggestion and motivation for these times is to take a parallel from our flying world, is to kind of stay above the clouds, which is stay above the inversion. It's like a zoomed out view. What's happening at the mental, physical, emotional level with the world, let it stay below the clouds. You as a pilot, stay above the clouds in your pure being, and keep coming back here and seeing from top that it's all okay. Things go on this planet. They've been going on for thousands of years. They will go on. Make sure you are a light. And on that note, keep shining and smiling, and we'll catch you again. Thank you, Wiz, once again. That was brilliant.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you very much, everyone. See you again soon.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Everyone,